Ravine Flyer II is the star attraction at Waldameer in Erie, Pennsylvania, and this is a fantastic wooden roller coaster. And the name tells you quite a bit about this ride. For one, it's a terrain coaster. Ravine Flyer II has one of the most unique locations of any roller coaster. The ride is built on a ravine, which allows the coaster to have a 118-foot drop despite a maximum height of just 80 feet. But not only that, the coaster also passes over Peninsula Drive on a 165-foot-long arched bridge not once but twice. Second, Ravine Flyer II is not the first coaster at the park to be called Ravine Flyer, and ironically, it's not the second ride either. The original Ravine Flyer opened in 1922. Designed by John A. Miller, this wooden roller coaster also crossed over Peninsula Drive. However, tragedy struck in 1938. Ravine Flyer valleyed above Peninsula Drive, leading to a 20-year-old male exiting his seat and falling onto the roadway. In the aftermath of the incident, the ride was closed and later removed, but the owners of Waldameer one day dreamed of building a new and improved Ravine Flyer II. Planning for the Ravine Flyer II started in the early 1990s. Custom Coasters International, or CCI, developed an initial concept for a bigger, faster, and longer version of the original Ravine Flyer. In 1999, the park announced Ravine Flyer II. However, the park had two hiccups that would delay the project almost a decade. First, the park encountered a lot of red tape and legal issues with their proposed ride. The coaster's structure would be subject to the 1980 Bluff Act, and the town had concerns with the ride passing over Peninsula Drive. Second, CCI went bankrupt in 2002. This delay is why Waldameer actually opened Ravine Flyer III, their milder kiddie coaster, before Ravine Flyer II. But in 2008, Ravine Flyer II finally became a reality. The park cleared all legal hurdles and found a new manufacturer to construct their ride in the Gravity Group. Ravine Flyer II runs two PTC trains. On most days, the park only uses one train, but I have seen them run two trains simultaneously on a busy holiday weekend. From my experience, Ravine Flyer II never has more than a 10-minute wait. In terms of the best seat, I go back and forth whether the front or back is better. The back has a superior first half, but the second half is an absolute dud when the coaster isn't warmed up. The front has more consistent airtime start to finish regardless of the time of day. I also have to give Waldameer a ton of credit for how well they maintain Ravine Flyer II. This coaster has a very aggressive layout, and I could very easily see this coaster becoming rough if the park didn't stay on top of its track work. But I have ridden this coaster several times over the past 3 or 4 years, and the worst I've experienced was a few bumps in the turnaround section. Ravine Flyer II begins with an 80-foot tall lift hill, and the views of Lake Erie are spectacular. The top of the lift is perched atop the ravine so you can see for miles, and the lift also slows down at the top, similar to what Iron Rattler does, which gives riders a few extra seconds to appreciate this stunning view. And if you're up front, you're held over the first drop for a few seconds, so it feels like a pseudo dive coaster. But if you're in the back, you get some exceptional ejector airtime going over this first drop. It's probably my favorite first drop of any traditional wooden roller coaster. This drop is the primary reason why I split my rides among the front and back rows. Ravine Flyer II then twists to the right and rockets through a brief tunnel. When you emerge, you'll find yourself on the bridge crossing over Peninsula Drive. But you may not even realize you're above the roadway because the bridge is enclosed by a blue tarp on all sides, presumably to protect cars from loose objects and as a mitigation in response to the 1938 incident. However, this bridge contains a fantastic speed hill that you fly over. This hill delivers some incredible sustained floater airtime in every row, so I don't mind the obstructed view. Ravine Flyer II then enters what I will refer to as the double-up turnaround. You initially bank to the left up this small curved hill, getting a quick pop of ejector airtime at the top in all rows. At the same time, the track rapidly banks to the right as you continue spiraling upwards. This rapid-fire transition occurs in the blink of an eye, and it feels comparable to one of those crazy left-to-right transitions on Maverick or Intimidator 305. Now, the second half of this turnaround is a bit of a dead spot. The train loses a lot of steam as it crests this element. This is the only hill in the ride that fails to give any airtime in the front row. I think this hill is a good 10 to 15 feet too tall, but the drawn out crest may have been intentional because the views are almost as amazing as the lift hill. You're facing right at Lake Erie, and the kinetic energy of the busy roadway down below is a really unique dynamic. Thankfully, the drop on the other side quickly regains all your speed. This drop is almost as tall as the first drop, but unfortunately it doesn't offer the same ejector airtime. In fact, in the morning or early afternoon, this drop fails to deliver any airtime at all. Towards the end of the day when Ravine Flyer II is warmed up, this drop gives some decent floater airtime. You then enter into the covered bridge yet again to pass over Peninsula Drive, and you fly over another speed hill, giving another 2 or 3 seconds of incredible and sustained floater airtime in every row. At the end of the bridge, you speed into yet another tunnel, and this tunnel includes a surprise airtime hill. And since this tunnel is at the lowest point of the ride, you get some powerful and sustained floater airtime. You are flying over this hill. When you re-emerge into the daylight, you rip over yet another airtime hill, getting another dose of sustained floater airtime, before diving back down into yet another tunnel. This section of the ride is near impossible to observe off-ride because it's at the bottom of the ravine adjacent to a nearby campground, and the tunnels were placed deliberately to help mitigate noise. The second of these bunny hills concludes what I consider to be the first half of Ravine Flyer II, and what a first half it is. Outside of the pause atop the turnaround, Ravine Flyer II tears through its course with near-perfect pacing while delivering some excellent airtime. I would go as far to say that Ravine Flyer II has one of the best first halves of any roller coaster. The conclusion of this first half is at the bottom of the ravine, which is roughly 30 feet below the rest of the park. The second half starts by climbing out of this ravine adjacent to the station, and you lose a lot of speed here. And that's the biggest issue with Ravine Flyer II's second half. It feels slow. Once atop the hill, you travel over this bunny hill. If you're up front, you get a nice pop of airtime. If you're towards the back, you don't get any airtime on this hill unless the ride is fully warmed up. If you're towards the middle, you get no airtime in this element regardless of the time of day. Ravine Flyer II then whizzes around a banked turn and traverses an S-hill. And this hill rides much like the prior bunny hill. Front row riders get a nice pop of ejector airtime no matter when you ride it, but back row riders need the ride to be fully warmed up to get their own pop of airtime. And yet again, middle riders are sort of out of luck here. Ravine Flyer II then crawls through this 90-degree bank turn. Most 90-degree bank turns occur when the coaster is traveling significantly faster, so it's sort of cool to navigate one of these turns at such low speeds because it sort of feels like you're going to fall out. Ravine Flyer II then dives back down the ravine, regaining all that speed that it had lost. But unfortunately, this drop doesn't offer any airtime. The best thing about this drop is the visual transitioning from being banked 90 degrees on your side to falling down a wooded hillside. You then climb back out of the ravine, again losing almost all of your speed. But the top of this hill is ridiculously tight, so it offers a strong pop of ejector airtime towards the front of the train. That's followed by 2 final bunny hills, and you absolutely crawl over these hills. But against all odds, they do offer a teeny tiny pop of airtime up front. And much like the other hills in the second half, these bunny hills will also give a teeny tiny bit of airtime in the very back once the ride is fully warmed up. But yet again, anyone towards the middle of the train is a bit out of luck there for airtime. Ravine Flyer II then coasts into the brake run, ending the 2,900 foot long ride. So what would I rate Ravine Flyer II? I'd give this coaster a 9 out of 10. Ravine Flyer II has one of the best first halves of any coaster. The amazing first drop, powerful airtime, sense of speed, and unique setting really make this coaster stand out. I just wish the second half was equally as awesome. The second half isn't bad by any means, it's just decent. It has some pops of airtime, but the lack of speed really hurts the pacing. So those are my thoughts on Ravine Flyer II, one of the most unique wooden roller coasters out there. I absolutely love this coaster, and I strongly recommend visiting Waldameer, one of the most underrated parks out there, so you can experience this Gravity Group wooden roller coaster. What are your thoughts on Ravine Flyer II? I would love to hear your comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like and consider subscribing because there will be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for listening.